Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Swedish Tier 9 Tech Tree medium tank, the UDES 16. Now the UDES 16 is a funky tank because it has the Swedish pneumatic suspension, which is automatic, so once you're going below, I believe it's 20 kilometers an hour, the pneumatic suspension will activate and then you get an extra set of gun depression on your tank, which makes you be able to use 15 degrees of gun depression, which is beautiful. The problem with the pneumatic suspension is that it does mean the gun bobbles. There is a gun bobble, and that means that when you stop and you use the suspension, your gun kind of does this little wiggle, which you really have to get used to, especially when you're trying to aim on a ridgeline, you're trying to get that snappy shot. It can hinder you a fair bit. It's a lot better than it used to be. I remember when these Swedish mediums actually came out, that bobble was awful. And then they didn't buff it, they fixed it, I should say. They didn't buff it, they fixed the gun bobble problem. And it's still there, but it's just not as noticeable. But obviously, just the way that the gun behaves and the way that the suspension behaves, with it automatically triggering and stuff, you do have to get used to it. And this is just a tank, really, for me, that I always clicked with, because after they got past that horrible original gun bobble that used to happen, the original version that was awful, I really clicked with it because I enjoyed the Tier 8 Tech Tree one because I liked the 360 Alpha at the tier and the gun didn't feel too bad, and when you fired the premium rounds you had that phenomenal shell velocity. It was really quite nice of a medium tank. You also had pretty good camo as well. Oh my lord, that's a flying... I don't even know what to... Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, so once you got past the gun bubble and you had the Tier 8 Tech Tree medium, it was like, yeah, the camo's pretty nice. The 360 Alpha was quite nice. The penetration was okay. I really enjoyed it. And then you went on to this Tier 9, and the Tier 9, the gun definitely got worse in terms of how it handled compared to the Tier 8, but you did get slightly better penetration. And generally, you actually had armour, because the Tier 8 Tech Tree has 0 armour, it just gets absolutely penned and wrecked. Whereas this tank, the UDES 16, the Tier 9, actually has pretty good turret armour. So if you actually manage to get hull down and use your turret armour, it will ricochet you a good amount of damage. Add to that, your upper plate is sloped at quite a nice angle, which means that, yeah, the upper plate, again, if you're using it on a ridgeline, can also ricochet shots, which is great. You just have to get used to the gun bubble. And also the penetration can leave a little bit to be desired at points as well. So yeah, like the UDES 16, it does have 234 penetration on the standard APCR, 263 on the premium APCR, and this is where it's a little bit worse than the other gun because it does have only 1150 meters a second shell velocity, which the stock gun has like 1385 and 1560 on the premium, which is what the shell velocity is absolutely beautiful on that gun. I really do like the stock gun, but this gun is definitely better because obviously you get that higher penetration, and with facing a lot of Tier 10s, yeah, it's nice to have. So what do I run in terms of a crew on the old UDES 16? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun. I run the 3 gun perks to make sure this gun is as good as it can be, because it can be a little bit derpy at times. The camo perks, because the camo on this tank is actually pretty damn nice, so I want to make it 10% better in general, and then make it better while it's on the move, and that way I can stay stealthed up and I can shoot for longer before I get spotted myself. This tank does have 390 view range as well, which is pretty good, so it helps you to be able to spot targets at a further distance and then not get spotted yourself. And in terms of equipment, I run the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself, because I can get it up to about 499 meters of view range with that setup. The gun stabilizer, like I say, because this gun can be derpy, and with the gun bobble, you know, with the suspension activating and deactivating and stuff, it's nice to make the gun better with that. And then the advanced loader to make your DPM 10% better. But I mean, you could, if you're perfectly happy with the gun stabilizer, you could drop that for the camo net, and you can actually drop your camo down to 268 meters of still concealment, which is really damn nice as well. There's multiple different ways to set up a tank. That's just the way I'd set it up, because that's how I feel comfortable playing it. So in this first game, as you can see, we're up to 4.5k damage with 4 kills. And we are currently in the perfect place for a UDES 16. We're on a little ridge line where we can use the gun depression, where we can basically make it so that all they can see is our turret. And you are seeing a bit of the gun bobble here when we're using this ridge line. This is where you have to be sort of used to it. And once you do get used to it, it's not too bad. Because obviously when you're approaching a ridge line, approach it a little bit slower so that your suspension sort of settles in. And then don't be too hasty in pulling the trigger. Always try and make sure that that shot is ready to go and you'll get the shot in. Because obviously sometimes it might bobble and that way you'll just shoot into the sky and that won't be good. So now there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team. It's like, okay, you know what? We know where they all are. Let's push up to the next ridgeline because we're not getting any shots here. There was 2 of the tanks spotted that were pulling back behind the little hill in front of us. So we may as well push up and see if we can spot them, get some shots into them, because there's me and this TD pressuring right now, so we'll see what we can do. We end up getting spotted, and it's like, okay, there we go, 6th sense has gone off. It's the Mantis. That's not good, because he can take a lot of our hit points with his autoloader, but thankfully he bounced one, penned the second, but we tracked him with the RBRT, and he gets shut down by the Charioteer. Now we've got the Kampfpanzer 50T directly in front of us. We're just going to go pressure him. Like I say, I'm confident in my turret armor, so once we get to the ridgeline, we slow down, slow it up a little bit. As you can see, it keeps the gun nice and steady. You really do have to be used to the suspension to make sure that you're going to get the most out of it, because if I just rushed in there, it's going to make the gun exceptionally derpy. It's going to make it really awkward with the bobble, and it's not going to go too well for you. We go for the RBRT into the T-32A, and unfortunately, the shot just bounces on his side, which is really unfortunate. Again, you can see the little bits of bobble, but again, we steady it up, and we make sure that that shot is going into his side. He fires his third and final shot, which means this T-32A is completely dry. We've only got premium rounds left, so we've got 260 pens, so we shouldn't find it too bad to shut this guy down. We're just going to make sure that this shot is going in, because we don't want any bouncers, and we shut down that T-32A, and we finished the game with a pretty damn nice total there for the UDES 16. We finished with the victory, 5 kills, 6.7k damage, 474 assistance, the ace tank of the high caliber, and the 1958 base XP. Really nice game there for the UDES 16 on Vineyards. Kind of just showed how to use it really and how to be very careful with that suspension, because I can't stress it enough. The suspension is definitely frustrating. It's a frustrating thing about all of these tanks because of the bobble. But if you just get used to it, and you take it steadier than you do with other tanks. Other tanks you might drive, that's probably one of the downsides, right? Is the fact that you can't just drive up to a ridgeline at full speed, stop, and then snap a shot and know that the gun's ready to go and it's not just going to shoot it into the sky. Obviously, RNG dependent. With the Swedish medium tanks, it's more than likely that if you rush up to a ridgeline at full tilt and then basically come to a complete stop and the suspension activates, no doubt that that gun is going to bobble, and there'll be a split second where your gun's pointing in the air, and if you pull the trigger at that exact moment, obviously your gun's just going to fire into the sky, and it's not going to go very, very well. So you just have to take it a little bit steadier. It's all about, to be honest, it's patience. That hit, okay, we'll take it. It's all about patience, realistically. It's just being a bit slower, a bit more careful and considered on the ridgeline, and making sure that your gun is just aimed in and ready to go. Because that's the other thing, because this gun is fairly derpy at times. I mean, it does have 0.36 base accuracy. It does mean that you do have to, most of the time, make sure that this gun is fully aimed. Because if you don't make sure that the gun is fully aimed, it will just miss. Because that's just the way the gun is. And, yeah, it's kind of sad for that, but it is what it is. So, we started this game so far. We've come to the spot here at D3, where I can spot the people crossing the one line, and I can go hull down. This Teeth Breaker we managed to get a shot into earlier on. Manages to get a few shots into us, but we do manage to get a nice shot into the 5100 there, who was trying to find a shot, but because we're so low to the floor, it's making it very, very awkward. Once again, I'm kind of confident against the 5100 here, because I'm pretty sure he can only see my turret, which, while hull down, he's not going to pen. Now we're unspotted, because like I say, the camo on this tank is actually pretty nice. About 306 meters of still concealment with this build, which means this guy actually is not going to really see us that well unless he's got a camo, or sorry, not camo build, a view range build. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to shut him down, but the VKB ends up spotting us, but he bounces off our turret front. We're just looking for a shot into the VKB, we can't quite find it. We're being very careful of the Teeth Breaker, because the Teeth Breaker could obviously just machine gun us, and we don't want that. We get a shot into the T92, who crosses our path. Again, we snap that shot in. Now the 5100 is in front of us. We wait for the suspension to activate to give us that gun depression, and we shut down the 5100. Again, it's always being considerate about the suspension. We could have just gone, oh, a 5100 driven straight up, made it really awkward. Gun bobble being a problem there. But we didn't. Because we slowed down, we made sure the suspension activated, and then we slapped the shot in. But there with the VKB, we rushed it a little bit. Our suspension activated too late. While we were already near the top of the ridgeline, we exposed our hull too much, the VKB penned us, and our gun bobbled upwards, which meant that our shot flew into the air. You saw the problem there of rushing to try and get a shot into someone. That, you know, it just flew into the distance. And naturally, that's where this medium will struggle as opposed to a fair few other tanks, because there's, you know, obviously a fair few other mediums will just go, snap, and they won't have that problem. So now we're coming up against the side of this 110. We slap the shot into the side of the 110 to shut him down. We're up to 2 kills with 2.5k assistance. 2.5k damage, sorry. Brain work. Now that the 110's gone, we're going to make it so that we go back to get some, well, try and get some shots into this VKB. Why? Because, well, I was thinking maybe the VKB will have stopped looking this way because he'll have seen me go for the 110 and assume that I've just run off in the other direction and therefore he's fine. But he's actually being attacked by the 1390. We go for the shot into his side, and unfortunately 232 pen on the angled side of a VKB is just not quite enough to go through, and we bounced because, well, the VKB is a very, very armoured tank. We've seen both artillery fire, so it's like, okay, I'm coming for you, Mr. Artillery. But sharpshooter fires at us from over there. So we make sure the shot's aimed in, and we get rid of the sharpshooter. That's kill number 3. And it's now, Mr. Piggies, I want the bacon. Where are we? Oh, we got spotted. What is that? That's actually a light tank behind us I have just not noticed. And there we go. We've noticed it. It's the T-92. And we shut him down for our 4th kill of this battle. Now we can see the Lorraine in the distance. He gets put down to a 1-shot. Oh, we can't quite get the kill, though, on him. For our 5th kill, that would have been nice. But there is an Su-130 PM directly in front of us. There's currently a medium tank spotted at D... whatever. It's gone now. It's dead. It's whatever. He's gone. We could have actually probably turned and looked at him. The GW Tiger gets spotted because, again, we knew he was in that direction somewhere. And, what again, our camo is doing us a massive favour here because he's... we're not that far away from him, but he just cannot see us. The Su-130 PM is not poking out to see us, which has given us a free farm on that GW. Oh, and unfortunately, we couldn't quite get the kill on the GW either. People are nicking our kills. Oh, yeah, well, they're not nicking our kills. They're securing them. They're securing them. Yes. So we load HE because we're going after this Su-130 PM. So, hello, Mr. Su-130 PM. Ow, my hit points. Well, have a 514 round. I'll give him a little love tap. I know I'm going to reload before this guy will, and we shut him down with the next shot. We're up to our 5th kill in this game with 4.7k damage. Can we get anywhere near this lurver to secure the top gun? That'd be nice. I'd like to finish this off with a top gun if I could, please, game. That would be very good. But looking at where our team is, looking at where that lurver is, yeah, the likelihood of getting there is not very likely because our whole team is swarming there. He gets spotted, and unfortunately the Su-130 PM shuts him down before we can get our top gun. But we did finish the game again with a really nice total for the UDES 16. The 5 kills, 4.7k damage, 831 assistance, the ace tank of the high caliber, with the 1701 base XP. A pretty damn nice game then, again, for the UDES 16. Again, it's a tank that I know a lot of people don't really like, but it's one that I just genuinely myself clicked with. I definitely did enjoy this tank, but I can see why many people don't like it. That gun bobble can be frustrating. I mean, again, you saw the little fights I was having with it, but always just try and be a bit more slower and considered with it, because just realise it won't be able to snap the shot that often. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!